Hi, I'm Megs.
And I'm Jax,
And this is Musing Over Mugs.
where we will be chatting about mostly books, but also some drinks and adventures.
So, welcome. We're happy that you're here to join us on this journey. And let us ask you, what's in your mug tonight?
I've got some Trader Joe's candy cane green tea. How about you?
I have some blueberry herbal tea that is pink because blueberry is not actually blue.
This is true. It's more of a purpley. I love that.
It is. It's very on brand for us, and I'm here for it.
Absolutely.
So for those of you joining us for the first time, which makes sense because this is our first ever episode, teaser episode, if you will, we love books.
We
do. Aggressively.
Yes, we've been reading books around the same time and, texting each other frantically when we get to the crazy parts for a while and decided, why not share that with the world? And so some of you may have found us through our Instagram, where we kind of started sharing all these things, and now we're bringing it to the podcast.
And for those of you who found us through TikTok, we apologize. We don't understand TikTok. It was very fluky that so many of you found us there, and thank you. Thank you so much.
We still don't know what we're doing, so bear with us.
But we're happy that you're here, and if you can help us, please send us an email at musingovermugs@gmail.com.
Do not DM us. I don't even know if you can DM us on TikTok. That's how much I don't know about TikTok.
But you can DM us on Instagram. We're very active. And sometimes we'll both answer you and not realize that we're both answering you, so you'll get two very different responses.
It's a good time. You never know which one of us. We should probably start signing off on our DMs, because you don't know which one of us is responding ever.
Well, let us know. Do you want us to sign, or is it just a fun guessing game of this person can't spell, it's clearly Megs?
That's usually me, I feel like, so.
Well, good for us.
At least we're the same.
All right. So every other week-ish, every episode, we're going to kind of focus on a different topic and talk about it. And we might ask you for your opinions through Instagram, so please make sure you're following us there. But for this episode, we just want you to get to know us a little better about kind of how we met, how we started this, and what we hope to do with it.
Absolutely, and I think we should just jump right in. Let's tell them our story.
Okay, do you want to tell it?
It's my favorite. So, we met many moons ago while we were interning. We were both interning in a marketing development office, and we bonded over our love of books and mostly shoes that were high-heeled and sparkly. And then we just became really good friends after that. And, flash forward years after that, I married you, and then you married me, and now we're having a podcast baby.
Yay! We did marry each other. We officiated each other's weddings. Both of our husbands are named Brian, both spelt the same way. And they are remarkably similar if you really take a step back and think about it.
It's true. They will collectively now be known as the Bryans.
Mm-hmm. B squared, if you will. And my Brian does not enjoy that nickname, so obviously I will continue to call him that forever.
I don't think I've told my Brian that they will be the Bryans, so
I'm here for it though. So yeah, we started, we met like a billion years ago. We married each other. We're having a podcast baby, a bookstagram baby. And we're excited to share it with the world. We hope that you don't hate us, because we get real excited about things, unapologetically so. And we just want to celebrate that and celebrate books, the good, the bad, the otherwise. Yeah.
It's fun. So I feel like to kick us off, I mean, obviously we kicked it off with our story, but maybe we can run through just some basic, book questions to get to know the both of us.
I'm here.
All right. So let's start with, what is the book or books that kind of made you fall in love with reading?
Oh, that's super easy. So I love... So I'm a big fan of F. Scott Fitzgerald. His short stories, I don't particularly like The Great Gatsby. I think it's it's a great book, but
we're starting off with controversial opinions.
Listen,
Episode 1.
The reason I have an issue with The Great Gatsby is it like was just so forced down your throat, right? Like people don't pick up on the nuance anymore. It's all about like, you know, Leo giving the toast. It's the whole thing. And listen, I loved it, but if you really want to get into like F. Scott Fitzgerald's like process, read his short stories. They're superb. But To Kill a Mockingbird and The Princess Bride are my favorite books of all time. And they are the only two that I think the movies are also like as quality as the books.
That's fair.
What about you?
Now I feel, I mean, you went classic literature, and I feel like I'm going to be a lame-o and be Harry Potter. Of course, I mean, I'm not going to be ashamed that I love Harry Potter,
Yeah.
but I just feel like compared to the classics, you are very prim and proper, and I'm over here like, woo! Hufflepuff for life!
I got rodents of unusual size and like fire pits and never make a deal with a Sicilian or like, it's fine.
But yeah, Harry Potter, I started it, obviously, when they came out, and then I think it was like my 4th grade teacher read them to us. My mom had read me the first one, and then I think we picked them up in school. And by the time the 4th book came out, I then was like reading on my own very aggressively. And I remember getting those books the day they came out, tearing through them in under 24 hours, like would not stop until they were done, till like the wee hours of the night. And that was like the first time I'd ever like binged a book. And I've loved them ever since. The books, I almost called it a podcast, the audiobooks. Jim Dale is my favorite narrator of all time. And the movies, obviously. It's just the whole world. I love it.
Okay, well, this leads up to another great book question. What is your favorite format? Do you like a real book? If it's real, is it paperback or hardcover? Do you like an audiobook? Do you like an ebook, like on a Kindle? Or my favorite, the Libby app?
Yep. Okay, so first of all of them have a time and a place. I love them all, but for different reasons. I mostly will read a physical book or an ebook. Like, I like actually reading the pages. I've recently started doing the audiobooks, like, within the past, like, year or so. But I have found, like, Harry Potter was a cinch to do an audio because, like, you know the story, you know the characters, you know where it's going. So, like, while I was driving, great. Cleaning the house, amazing. Anything new takes a little bit more of my attention to, like, focus on what's actually happening in the story, so I can't really do it as passively. But I'm getting better at those. But I can't decide if I like hardcover, probably paperback. I don't know, I like them both. All of them. Let's just get them all.
Okay, but here's the thing, and I'm just gonna put you on blast right here. You hate a dust cover.
I do hate dust covers. I love them because they're beautiful and I want them on my shelf, but if I am taking that book anywhere with me, there is no dust cover on it because you 100% are going to ruin it in your bag all the time. I know that they make those sleeves. I should probably just get one of those carrying sleeves for books so that I don't ruin them, but I have ruined many a book cover, a dust cover, in my beach bag, my purse, because the book's going with me. It doesn't just sit there nicely. So, naked books all the way.
Oh, like a naked cake, a naked book. I'm here for it. I have a folder where I have some dust covers in them so they don't get ruined as we read them. And as we read them, I mean as my husband reads them, because I love a dust jacket and we'll keep it on there forever.
It's so funny. I like that you have a folder because mine is just like stuck on the bookshelf as if the book is still in there.
Ooh, that's nice though, because it doesn't mess up the aesthetic.
Yes. Still a full bookcase, just an empty book. But I also really love my Kindle because I feel like I read way faster on a Kindle than I do with the physical book. And also, I'm not going to lie, laying down with a Kindle is a lot easier to hold than a whole book, especially when you fall asleep and then it hits you in the face, because it's lighter and then it also doesn't hurt as bad as like a hardcover if you fall asleep and drop it on you, because I have done that.
Yeah, that's very true. I have a book light, and I have to get all the way under my covers like I'm a child and turn my book light on so it doesn't like brighten up the room so I don't wake my husband up.
Oh, I love that. You're much more considerate.
Super uncomfortable, and I do not enjoy doing it. I have tried to do like pillow walls, and it's still too bright.
Thankfully, Brian sleeps like the dead. So he got me this really lovely book light that attaches to the headboard and comes up and over. So now I don't have to move it in the book. But it's pretty bright, but he hasn't seemed to mind.
That's good.
Thankfully. Because books over sleep at all times.
Yeah, so how late have you stayed up reading?
I mean,
You
this
mentioned
week,
you mentioned the
4
Harry
a.m.
Potter. Okay, 4 a.m.
That was this week's read. I could not stop. It happened one summer by Tessa Bailey that I was like tearing through, and I was actively trying to sleep. I was like, I'm gonna stop. I turned off the light. I closed the book. I put it down, laid down, and I was wired. I was like, well, might as well keep going. Why stop now? I think I tried to sleep at least 3 times, and then finally really stopped. I was like, no, you need to sleep. You have to get up tomorrow. Passed out. Actually, I didn't pass out. I ordered hook, line, and sinker from Target that I could pick up the next day at 4 a.m. because I was like, I'm gonna finish at the beach tomorrow, and I'm not gonna have the next book. Must have it. Not to mention I had 3 copies already on the way in some way, like coming to me in some way, but they weren't going to be there by the time I finished, and that was unacceptable.
My favorite part of this, again, I feel mean now. I'm putting you on blast again. Is that you were also recovering from COVID?
I was.
So it's fine.
It's fine. It was I got a lot of reading done, so this was on like I'd already finished the quarantine, was feeling back to normal, so I slept a lot during COVID, so that was.
So you're making up for it. You're making up for last time.
Exactly. Absolutely.
I'm here for it.
Totally. What are some of the books, one or many, that you will constantly recommend?
Okay, so Book Lovers by
Emily Henry.
Like, I don't even want to say Emily Henry. Like, the queen, icon, legend, if I can borrow a phrase from Danny Pellegrino, Emily Henry. I read my first Emily Henry book earlier this year. I have read now 3 of her books. I finished them in a day, maybe a day and a half. Book Lovers is my favorite. It is everything I could want in a contemporary romance. It flips, a lot of the tropes that we know on its ear. So that is definitely, like, at this stage, like, if you just want something really, like, fun and, like, a romance, that's definitely it. Another book that I absolutely love, and I suck because I cannot remember the author's name, so I'm going to look it up as I stall.
We don't judge here. This is a judgment-free podcast because I, too, am terrible at names. And I'll give the disclaimer now to folks. I love reading, and I tear through books. And 9 times out of 10, if I don't review it immediately, I am lost. I do not remember a single thing. I can tell you that I've read the book. I can tell you that I liked the book or didn't like it. Most of the time I like them. But can't tell you about the plot. Can't tell you about the characters. It will take me a minute to, like, pull it back together. So we're going to be doing a lot of preparing before recording because that's just who I am as a human being.
Same. I'm really bad with author names, and I know I shouldn't be. That's like the number one thing I have to get better at. But it's The Firekeeper's Daughter by Angeline Boulley. I think I said her last name correctly. It's a young adult. It's a young adult novel. It's so good. It's a young Indigenous woman kind of going through some trauma. It's kind of like there's some like mystery in it, and it's phenomenal. It's a really, really well written book. I was sobbing by the end of it, and I think it's just it was such like a powerful story. And I haven't really read much that have Indigenous people as main characters, so to kind of see that inclusion was really, really cool too.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm. What about you? What's your number 1 recommendation?
Number 1 recommendation?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, clearly depends on what you're looking for, but I will never shut up about Verity by Colleen Hoover.
Mm-hmm.
It was just wild. It was the first Colleen Hoover book I've ever read, which I have since read others, and they are all lovely, but I know that this is, like, very different than her other stuff. But it was just such a ride that I couldn't stop. I was like flabbergasted the whole time. You don't know what's happening. You don't know who's lying, who's telling the truth, who's the crazy one, what the fart is happening. It is, so good.
That
it's
ending,
my favorite book. Anytime, every time. Are we going to be spoilery or no spoilery?
We're going to try to avoid spoilers. If we are going to spoil anything, we will put it
We'll give the disclaimer.
We'll give a disclaimer. We'll put it in the description. Hey, we might be talking about some spoilers. So always check the episode notes, but we're going to try not to be spoily. But some books, like Verity, you can't really, like, help it.
Well, we're not going to say, we won't say what it is, but we will say the ending is, and I get so stoked anytime, did I say stoked?
You did.
I am not from California. I don't know where that came from, but so stoked anytime I hear someone's reading it and one of my friends is like, oh, I picked up Verity. And then I'm like, oh, we must discuss. Like, tell me your thoughts. Like, it's my favorite book to discuss because I just love hearing everyone's take on the ending and, like, what they think is true and then, like, kind of dissecting that together. It's a blast. So that's probably the number one book I recommend, which is closely followed by Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo.
Oh, love that. Yeah.
Oh, so good. So good.
I also like, and I have it on my shelf behind me.
Gorgeous. We love a bookshelf.
We love a bookshelf. Taste by Stanley Tucci.
Of course.
It is his life through food. And I like pasta a lot. I like Italian food. I'm Irish and Lebanese. I'm not Italian, but I love Italian food. And this is the only book I have annotated with all of the recipes so that I can go back and make them. And when I say I can go back and make them, I can give the book to my husband and be like, make this for me. It's
so funny because I feel like both of us we can cook, but we don't cook. And it's the Bryans that cook, which is rare.
I have to start cooking. It's very upsetting. But it's fine. I'll get through it. What is your favorite childhood story?
Oh, God. Childhood story. Like, are we talking like kids, but like literal?
Yeah, kids book.
The Hungry Hungry Caterpillar kind of books?
I don't know, whatever your favorite one is.
Where the Sidewalk Ends, probably? I don't know. It's been a while.
Like Sam's Very Bad Day. I think it's Sam's No Good Very Bad Day. I still have it. It's like the one book I have from my childhood because like it all turns out okay. Like it sucks in the moment when you're going through it, but you know.
You know which book I still have? Now I'm blanking on the name. The Dr. Seuss one.
Places You Go? Green Eggs and Ham?
Yeah, that's the one. Places You Go.
All right.
Got a new copy for graduation from high school, and I think that's probably the only childhood book I have on the shelf, besides Harry Potter, but I don't know if that really counts as childhood. I mean, it was my childhood, but not, like, as a youth. I was a youth. I don't know what I'm saying.
It's fine. Listen, this is the first episode. It's gonna be, like, a whole thing, guys. We apologize, / we don't at all.
No, it's just who we are. We're just gonna ramble. What is your worst book hangover?
Okay, so my worst book hangover is your fault. My friend Jax got me into Sarah J. Maas, and like, great, love it. We've gotten multiple other people into it. So we read that whole ACOTAR series, and like, okay, we got through it. Like, emotions, but we were fine. And then we will
talk about them at length in other episodes.
We will. And then I read Crescent City 1. Like, in 2 days. It's an 800 plus page book. It's fine. And then I read Crescent City 2. And that, I think, was my worst book hangover. In terms of, like, a singular book where I just, like, had to not for a while. Because that ending, that last... yeah. So
we're not going to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it.
We're not going to talk about it today, because I don't think I can, like, relive that right now.
No, because we're going to have to, I mean, at length discuss, first of all, the reactions, and then also, like, the book itself. But I think that is a warranted book hangover.
Yeah. But I do this thing where I'll read, like, a lot of books really fast. I just was on vacation in Cape Cod, and I brought 4 books with me, and I read all 4 books in 4 days. And when I came home, I was like, I need to, like, watch TV or something. I feel like plots and characters started meshing, which happens to me if I read, like, too much too fast from, like, different books. But in terms of, like, a one singular book, it was definitely Crescent City 2.
Absolutely. And, like, as I said, warranted. Like, that's also my worst book hangover, because, as you said, the ending was so it's so much, just so much. I've never had such a, I mean, like, I cry very easily, and I cry often during books. If I'm too happy, I'm too sad, I'm in tears. I'm like Kristen Bell with The Sloth. But that book, I literally finished it screamed, had to get up. And now, mind you, this is another night where it's like 3 a.m. I got up and stomped around like a crazy person to the point where Brian woke up and was like, what is happening? And I was like, you will never understand. There are thousands of pages that have happened that you don't know, so you're not going to understand the pain that I'm feeling. Full meltdown. And then to the point where like I had to sit on the floor the next day and do nothing. I was like, I can't read. I can't watch TV. I'm going to sit here and listen to some sad songs, I think. I made a book hangover playlist.
Which we will share.
I was that distraught.
We will share this playlist.
It's in the works. It's not that great. It's like 4 songs that I could just scream. Yeah. Because I was feeling it. It was cathartic.
It's fine. And completely and utterly warranted, because what the hell was that ending?
Because Sarah J. Maas is crazy. I love her, and I'm dying for all the things that are going to happen, but...
You know, I think
she did us dirty.
That's part of, like, the hangover was, like, it ended on such, like, this emotional note, and we don't know when the next one's coming.
No idea.
Allegedly, it's written. But, you know, that's just what I've read on the Reddit threads and the deep dive to bookstagram and book talk. So I think that was part of why the book hangover hit so hard.
True. It wrecked me for days.
As it could. So the question that I see all the time, and I know your answer.
Do I know my answer?
You should. You talk about it all the time. Your best book boyfriend.
Oh God. There are so many.
That's a lie. You talk about one incessantly.
I talk about one incessantly. Mm-hmm. I talk about one incessantly. I feel like there are so many of them. Can I have a hint as to which one you're thinking?
Crescent
Is
City.
It Surreal?
Crescent City.
Hunt?
Yeah, no. Your Rune.
Oh, Rune Dan and the Prince of the Valbaran Fae. Of course. But I think I put the Surreal above him. I don't know. Surreal is he's my guy. I mean, as you can see from the mug.
We love the Surreal. He was just our last cocktail for characters
yes.
tribute. So we love a Surreal.
He is an underrated character. Although I think he has his own fan base.
I was like, I don't think he's underrated at all.
The people have found him, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, Cassian, duh. Mm-hmm. I mean, they're all pretty much Sarah J. Maas's characters, which is... There's also some, Emily Henry's, some Tessa Bailey's that we love, so...
There's a lot out there. I mean, every book...
There are.
Is has somebody to fall in love with who'll break my heart.
I really almost just burst into song. I had to stop myself. I was like, I don't think I'm ready for podcast land to hear me. So, fun fact, I often, if something will spark a song, I will just start singing. But I'm gonna try to save it for a little bit because
we don't want to give everything all at once.
Another fun fact. I, in high school, was a musical theater kid.
No.
And was in a chorus line which was magical, but I was so bad at singing that they turned my solo into a monologue.
Oh,
so
no.
That's so you'll hear it eventually, but it's not good. I also was like adamant about it. I was like, I cannot and will not even try. It will just be embarrassing for all people involved. Like, so I'll just strongly speak about being 4'10".
Oh God, I'm so sorry. That's amazing.
Formative child memories.
Core memory right there.
Do not sing, just speak loudly.
It's fine.
Always. Okay. You already talked a little bit about movies to books, or books to movies that worked. Do you have any that didn't work?
So here's the deal. This is so stupid. I won't read a book if I've seen the movie first, because I feel like
that's fair.
It's just I'm gonna have like a preconceived notion. It's not gonna work. And I very rarely like watching movies after I've read a book, because I've already like created a scene and cast the characters. Like, I know who I'm gonna cast for the ACOTAR series on Hulu. And it's fine. that they're not going to go with
like, we have to have a viewing party.
They're not going to like cast the people I already have casted in my head. Because some of those people are also no longer alive. It's fine. It's whatever. But it's like one of those things. So I very rarely will like watch something after I've read it because I've already kind of like made the movie in my head almost. Yep. I just hit my mic. I'm sorry. I'm still getting used to all the things. But that being said, like I'll watch like some of the newer stuff that's coming out that's based on.
Because we have to. I mean, I will gladly. I mean, I'm worried, but I will watch the ACOTAR series. I'm very excited about Red, White, and Royal Blue.
Mm-hmm. The last thing he told me, that's going to be an Apple series, or I think maybe it's a movie. I don't know, but I know it's going to be on Apple TV. That's going to be exciting.
Yep, definitely have that on my TBR because you keep telling me I need to read it.
I gave it to you, so
I know it's here. I've got it. It happened one summer. Tessa Bailey is coming to. I think it's a movie.
No idea.
Which I'm also very excited about. Yeah, I feel like when I do, for the most part, I try to keep my opinions separate from book and movie because I think that they both, like Harry Potter, they're different adventures, similar but different. They each have their own, things, and I love them both equally for different reasons. But there are some that are just so terrible. You can't. And that one is My Sister's Keeper by Jodi Picoult.
Oh.
It is loved the book. Should I ruin it?
I mean,
it's been out forever.
The movie's been out for like 15 years, right?
Yep. I mean, it's old at this point.
If you don't want to know, fast forward.
Click forward. They killed the wrong character. Like, the whole book was centered around this journey, and they killed the wrong person. And I remember walking out of that, because I saw it in theaters. My whole family went. It was like, because we all read the book, we all loved it, we all go. I think it was a Friday night, because we do Friday night pizza, which has been happening for a decade at this point. Every Friday night, my family has pizza, and then sometimes we'll do an activity such as go to My Sister's Keeper, thinking the book we love is now a movie. Why not? And I remember walking out of that theater. It was good. I felt like I hadn't read the book in a while, but I felt like it was pretty on point up until the literal last second, and I'd been sobbing right along, and then they killed the wrong character, and I was like, ah. And then we walked out, and people were like in hysterics. I'm like, you didn't read the book, and you didn't read the book, and you didn't read the book. It was like Oprah, but with badness. It was terrible. And I won't get over it. 15 years later, however many years it's been, I am still riled up.
So, I mean, listen, we all have unresolved trauma. That might be yours. It's fine.
It might be. It's on there.
How do you feel? So we both read kind of everything. We read thrillers and suspense and fantasy and dark fantasy romance and contemporary romance. How do you feel about the shift? And we were sort of having this conversation earlier. The shift from like the romance covers of olden days with like the shirtless, ripped guy whose head's like half cut off, but he's got beautiful flowing hair, like holding the woman, like whatever, to like now these like really fun cartoony things. How do you feel about that shift?
I love it because, I mean, I am all for reading romance and smut in public. Totally fine. I think those readers are the people you need to be concerned about because we are reading hardcore smut in public with stone cold faces, and that is terrifying.
I am not. But I definitely know when I'm reading smut because I just blush. Like, there's no hiding on this face.
The cartoon covers, I think, make it more accessible for people to... Because, I mean, up until now I'll read whatever, but I feel like up until I kind of started getting into this world, it was like Kindle only. I would never pick up a book with a shirtless man on the cover. Oh my god, who am I? But now I don't care. But all these cute little cartoon covers, Emily Henry, Tessa Bailey, I mean, I can't get enough of them. They look all sweet and innocent, and then there's some stuff in there.
So how I picture them, they're like a secret member. Like, you're a part of a secret club, like, because we know what's in those books. We see a cartoon cover, we're like, oh, they're going to be doing some dirty things in, like, chapter 4. Like, we got this. And And so I feel like when you see other people reading it, you can be like, hey, I get you.
Hey.
I've read it too. It's all good.
I also, the only thing I don't like about them, not that I don't like it, but I do feel a little bit, like when I don't know people very well and they're like reading styles or reading tastes or whatever. For example, I've had a work client who loves books. We talk about books, and then we were talking about this book and I was like, I had to warn. I had to be like, oh, I don't know if it's a little spicy. I don't know if that's your jam or not.
Was this the love hypothesis person?
Yes. Jess, I love you. I'm sure you'll listen to this at some point, and I panicked because Meg had told me there was the bonus scene. I got so excited because you had told me you wanted to read the love hypothesis, so I immediately messaged you and was like, oh my god, bonus scene, fantastic, you have to read it. And then read it and was like, oh dear lord, I had no idea that's what the bonus scene was going to be, and I've now recommended it to a work colleague. The panic that set in. But you have now since read it, and I think you liked it, so.
I believe she did. I think I saw a message come in this thing. I was like, have you read the bonus chapter? She's like, yeah, I'm on it.
And it's funny because then I told her on my account to read the bonus chapter again, and she was like, Meg already told me. I was like, we're doing the thing.
So let's go back to the point where we both message people and, see what goes on.
Have the same conversation twice. It's fine.
You're welcome. No, I love the cartoon covers because I think it the old romance, like the Fabio covers, like they just became like so cliche and like a joke. And now, like, it gives them, like, a little bit more credibility, and it takes away that, like, jokiness, and I think it's definitely revived the genre. Not that it went away, but I think it's allowed, people like you and I to start reading in public without any shame. That's kind of my thought.
I love it. What's your favorite spot to read in?
I have a chair. I bought a chair. I put it in my corner. It's a little accent chair. It's I call it my Brady Bunch chair because it's a Christopher Knight collection, and he played the original. I want to say Bobby, but I don't think that was the name of his character. But it reclines, and I sit in it all the time, and I read books, and my husband comes in, and he just looks at me, and he's like, yep, okay. And then he'll sit next to me and play his video games. So that's how we bond now. We sit next to each other, and we don't talk.
Yep, same.
I can't read in bed.
I do not have a chair yet.
I can't read in bed. I'll fall asleep.
That's fair.
So, I know yours is probably the beach, right?
The beach, for sure. Also, I have a corner of the couch it's my nest, so.
Love a nest.
It's where I typically am if I'm home, but usually, the beach, for sure.
We love a book nest.
Yep. The more pillows, the better.
What is your favorite library? Real fiction or nonfiction?
Oh, God. I mean, real... The New York City Library was pretty magical. I did Shrill upon... We, accidentally walked past it, and I was like, what's this building? And I was like, oh my God, it's a library! We went in. It was gorgeous, and, you have that Sex and the City moment that you're like, this is where Carrie got married, and... or tried to get married, but whatever. But it was just... That one's gorgeous and magical. Obviously, my public library that's nearby, it's literally, next to my house. I won't name it. You'll probably figure it out at some point, but I'm not going to tell you where I live. It has a special place in my heart because I grew up going there, and now I frequent it, so that's amazing. Fictional library?
Obviously.
There is no other answer.
Why did I even ask the question? I agree with both of those. The New York Public Library is wonderful. I live in Boston. I won't tell you where in Boston, but so I go to the Boston Public Library, the central one in Copley, a lot. And they just did a renovation a couple of years ago. And so it's all brand new and sparkly and shiny and all of the books you could ever want. And so those are my top two. And obviously Beauty and the Beast is pretty banging.
Yep. There's no comparison.
I mean, honestly though, if we look at Beauty and the Beast, okay, yeah, he took her hostage, but she doesn't have to pay rent. She gets to read all day. The silverware talks and delicious food. I'm here for it. I see nothing wrong except for the whole taking a hostage thing.
Falling in love with the captor, but we're not gonna look too far into it. You
don't have to pay rent, and you could read all day.
That's kind of a dream.
That's all I want in my life.
We're working on it.
Having a library is on my must-have when I buy a house someday.
Yes. I've already discussed how I will have... I'm starting it. I've got like a little corner library, but I was like, I want wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling books. And I want to go around the whole thing. And then I want a chandelier, very sparkly. And then I want a pink, like... I want a fainting couch because it like looks gorgeous, but I want like a very comfortable, like a Tempur-Pedic pink velvet fainting couch, like, because it's gotta be super comfortable, because that's gonna be the chair. So right in the center, and a ladder, obviously. That goes
yeah,
around.
because you got to do the Beauty and the Beast ladder thing, but it wasn't in the Beast's library. It was in the bookshop when she does the thing. So
when she slides, I wanted in my dream world, this was gonna be, we call it a round thing. I think there's definitely an actual architectural name, but like the tower thing on the side, like old houses.
The Princess Tower.
One of those. Princess Tower. Wanted a Princess Tower, and I wanted that to be the library. Then I realized the logistics of having a rounded room bookcase seemed challenging, so I was like, well, it doesn't actually have to be round inside. Somehow. We'll find a way. In the bookcase. The bookcases will surround.
Here. I'm here for it. Yep.
They'll be, like, cut out.
I love it.
Also cook it down with a bay window, so you, like, have the fainting couch in the window. But this would have to be, like, in the backyard, because I don't need people driving by and seeing me lounging.
I mean, you could do, like a screen on the window, so basically it's tinted so they can't see in, but you can see out, and it lets the light in.
What I now want is, I have, like, a little sticker thing now. It's like I don't know, again, definitely a name for this thing. But anyways, they have material that you can do your whole window. I just have, like, a small sticker, but you put it on when the sun shines through, rainbows come up everywhere, and we call it rainbow hour. It's, like, 3-4 o'clock here. And it's pretty magical. So now I want my library windows to be like full rainbow.
I love it. I'm here for it.
Yeah, it's aggressive, and I'm into that.
Well, speaking of rainbow, how do you store your books? So you just said you have like a little like corner library. Are you in color coordination, or are you kind of like mishmash like I clearly am?
I went rainbow for once I got the new shelves. I did it for the gram, and I did the rainbow, and I hate it. It is absolutely stunning. It's beautiful to look at. However, I cannot find a single book when I need to find it. And books like Emily Henry, you are notorious for this. I know that your book cover for Beach Read is yellow. Your spine is blue. So you were not in the yellow section. So I spent like 5 minutes digging through the yellow books. Was like, where are you? And it's in the blue section.
People you meet on vacation?
That's,
orange, green spine.
Green spine. It drove me batty. I've gotten a little bit more used to it. I also have now shifted to a book cart for my seasonal TBR because the shelves were already getting too crowded. So that's helped, because now I pick out the books that I'm going to read over the next several months, put them on the cart, and now it's a much smaller collection to cull through, so I don't have to do that by color. So it also helps that most of my summer books are like Ellen Hildenbrand, so they're all like blue, light blue with sand colored spines. So those all look very lovely.
I love it. I'm here for it. I just try to group by author, and then by size. So it's in a constant flux. This will look completely different next time we film.
Before we got like super big into books, and I now have these like giant bookcases. I used to have like just a 6-cube cubby thing, and that was done by style of book. Like most of my books were either thrillers, summer books, or like everything else. Those were like my 2 categories, and I just kind of lumped them together like that. And I knew exactly where those were. I knew the book, it was right there. And if it was like I had like a new book cubby that was like you recently came into the fold, would just kind of stick you in the middle. It was so organized. I could tell you where that thing was in a second, but now I'm getting better. I know where most things are, but it's I need more red books. Actually, I don't need any more books because I already can't fit anything on there, but red and yellow are my lowest 2. Green also. I got a lot of blue, a lot of black, like barely any pink, which is shocking. I mean, I guess I up until now didn't pick books based on their cover. Picked them because I love the author, I wanted to read the book, whatever it may be. And then I had to well, I didn't have to, but I did, for we did a shoot for Musing, and I was like, I will go buy all of the pretty pale pink covered books. And I was like, I'm doing the thing you're told not to do, which was shop for covers.
I mean, here's the thing. They say don't judge a book by its cover, but you're not judging a book. You're just buying the book based on the cover. Which I feel is a whole different philosophy.
I've always said book buying and book reading are two very separate hobbies.
They are.
And I love both.
And that's, I think that's where we find our win, is the fact that we do both. We do buy a lot. We take a lot out from the library, but we are constantly reading. So it doesn't feel like I'm just giving my money away.
Yes, it's for a good cause. We are supporting local bookshops when we buy, so I feel like we're helping the economy.
There are 2 new bookstores opening in Boston this summer, and I cannot wait. Beacon Hill Booksellers, and then the Harvard bookstore opening up in the Prue.
What is your favorite small bookstore, now that we're talking about bookstores?
That is a really awesome question. So my favorite local bookstore, when I was growing up in Central Mass, it was Annie's Bookstop. It's a great small store, has everything that you want. The people were super nice, always went there to get gifts for folks. And now that I live in Boston, I go to Trident a lot. It's within walking distance, as is everything in the city, it seems like. But they have a ton of events and just really fun stuff. They have a little restaurant, cafe, which is super cool. But I am looking forward to those, to the new independent bookstores that are opening in the city later this summer. What about you?
I love Brookline Booksmiths. I, in college, lived in Coolidge Corner and loved Coolidge Corner, but it was just the cutest little bookstore. It's now expanded and amazing, and they have some awesome authors coming through. We're going to several of their events this year, so they're wonderful. I love the people, I love the events, I love the atmosphere. They have everything you can need in there.
Earlier this summer, I went to Read Books, I guess, over in the Cape. I believe it was in Harwich or Harwich Port. I can't remember which. But it was a really cute little store. So definitely check out your local independent bookstores. We did a day in Salem a few months ago and popped into any store that we saw that had books, which was really fun, and everyone was really nice. So definitely check out your local bookstores.
What are some things that you're obsessed with? Okay. Last question. Outside of books. I was like, we're going to take it out of books. Give me some of the things.
Okay, so my name is Megs, and I am addicted to sunglasses. I have 2 drawers full of sunglasses. I wear the same 3, but I cannot stop buying them. I have a new pair of sunglasses coming this week. It's a problem. It kind of is. So I live in a tiny apartment, and I am, between the books and the sunglasses, I'm running out of space. But no, I love sunglasses. I love going to the movies. Love food and drinks. We have a series. Maybe this is a great time to plug our weekly Thursday/Friday series called Cocktails for Characters, where we make a cocktail dedicated to one of our favorite characters from books. All right, now we're going through the ACOTAR series, so go catch up, make some drinks with us. But yeah, and my husband is a great cook, and I bake, so those are kind of my top things, is sunglasses, movies, and food and drink.
Perfect.
And plants. How could I forget?
Never forget the plants. Many plant babies.
So many. What about you? What are your obsessions?
I mean, outside of, obviously, my family and my dogs, and my cat, we do have a cat, the beach and skiing, skiing is new, but obsessed. Those are my 2 favorite, they're my holy grail. I don't make plans on the weekends, which is terrible of me, in the summer and the winter, because I am at the beach or I am on a mountain. So I'm obsessed with those, and Booty by Brabants. If you are from Boston, you likely know of Kelly. If Kelly is selling, I am buying. It is 100% addiction. Her leggings are my entire wardrobe at this point. Her workout classes are unbelievable. So maybe I'll see you guys there. Because her energy is just contagious. So I'm obsessed with her and anything she's doing, and fell in love with her during the pandemic, and now I am a diehard fan.
I love it. I'm here for it.
So we got books, beach, skiing, Kelly.
And you also got me into the pants. I have 3 pairs of them. So
I'm not gonna tell you how many I have.
Don't want to know.
It's aggressive.
It is, but
it's fine.
They make you happy.
It's fine. I was like, we've said before, it could be drugs. And it is, the 2 things I buy the most are leggings from Kelly and books. So it could certainly be worse. And I wear them literally every single day. Sometimes 2 pairs a day, because you'll work out in a pair, and then you'll change into a lounging pair.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can't lounge in the same ones you work out in.
Absolutely. See, this is just, I had to keep many available.
I support this. It
was either that or laundry.
Who wants to do laundry?
Not me. So those are my obsessions.
I love it. I'm here for it.
And we're obsessed with you guys, so.
We're also obsessed with Disney, but that's going to be a whole other episode.
I can't believe neither of us said Disney.
It's a whole other episode. We will get to it.
Oh.
I feel like you might have gotten that from our Beauty and the Beast deep dive.
I can't believe we didn't even put that on the list, but we'll get into that at some point. But I feel like that's a good taste of who we are as humans. And you'll obviously get to know us more and more as the podcast goes on. If you've been following on our Instagram, you probably have a good sense of who we are from there as well. We're excited to start this new journey with you guys.
So make sure that you like and subscribe and all of that fun stuff. Please give us a review. If you liked this, if you didn't like it, just send us a DM. Don't leave us a review. Like, we want to know why you didn't like it, but like, don't tell other people, right? But please also make sure you're following us on Instagram. That's where we put out most of our content. We promise to try to get better on TikTok, but
do we promise?
We're gonna try.
I mean, there's only so many platforms that a gal can handle.
Follow us on Instagram. We're gonna try to get better on TikTok, but we cannot make any guarantees at this moment. But thank you so much for joining us today. We hope that our musings entertained you, and we can't wait to talk to you next time.
Have a wonderful day, night, morning, wherever you are, and
cheers.